How does a kid from a tiny Austrian village, a village that didn't even have plumbing or phones, decide he's going to be the greatest bodybuilder ever, the world's biggest movie star, and the governor of California? It's a story that makes no sense. By all logic, Arnold Schwarzenegger should have failed. When he first came to Hollywood, studios literally laughed at him. His name? Schwarzenegger. Unpronounceable. His body? Too big, they said. Freakish. Not a leading man. And his accent? It was so thick that in his very first movie, Hercules in New York, they had to hire another actor to dub over all of his lines. It was a total disaster. He was a joke. Fast forward, that exact same man commanded $30 million for Terminator 3, plus a massive cut of the profits. He became the highest-paid action star on Earth. So how? How does the Austrian oak with a tractor engine voice become a global icon? Most people chalk it up to charisma, or luck, or his famous aura. But they're wrong. Arnold's aura wasn't a miracle, it was a formula. A cold, calculated, repeatable three-step blueprint for total self-control. He used his formula to conquer bodybuilding. He used it to conquer Hollywood. And he used it to conquer American politics. Today, we're breaking down that formula step by step. This isn't just a celebrity story. This is a masterclass in building an empire. Act 1. The Silent Millionaire. When Arnold landed in America in 1968, he had a gym bag, about $20 in his pocket, and a single, burning vision: become the greatest bodybuilder on Earth. And he did it. He won the Mr. Olympia title 7 times. But here's the secret nobody talks about. While every other bodybuilder was just chasing trophies, Arnold was chasing assets. He wasn't just here to flex his muscles, he was here to build an empire. By his mid-20s, before he was a famous movie star, Arnold was already a millionaire. Not from movies, not from bodybuilding, but from real estate. He took his prize money from competitions, got a small loan, and at just 22 years old, he bought his first apartment building in Santa Monica. While his rivals were spending their winnings on flashy cars and parties, Arnold was studying market trends, fixing toilets, and reinvesting every single penny. This is the bedrock of his entire career. This is step 1 of his formula: visualization. But this isn't just dreaming big. Arnold visualized a life where he was in total control. He knew that to be a true star, he couldn't be desperate. He couldn't be worried about rent. He needed what they called FU money. That real estate portfolio gave him something no other aspiring actor had: freedom. He didn't have to take dumb roles in bad TV shows just to pay the bills. He could wait. He could be strategic. He could choose. When the script for the Terminator came across his desk in 1984, he could afford to take the role for just $75,000. It was a tiny paycheck, even back then, but Arnold didn't care. He wasn't looking at the paycheck. He was looking at the brand. He knew this role was perfect. His real estate empire meant he could focus on roles that built his legacy, not his bank account. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He had built his foundation. He was a silent millionaire, totally in control. But all the money in the world can't make you a movie star if Hollywood thinks you're a freak. How do you go from a bodybuilder with a heavy accent to the biggest leading man on Earth? Act 2. The flaw becomes the feature. Imagine walking into a Hollywood audition in the 1970s. The ideal stars were guys like Al Pacino or Robert Redford. They were relatable. They were actors. Then Arnold walks in, 6'2", 250 pounds of pure muscle. He doesn't just enter a room, he fills it. Casting directors were horrified. They told him to his face, "It will never work. Your body is too big. It's overdeveloped. Your accent is a joke, and your last name, Schwarzenegger? Forget it. Change it." He was totally uncastable. By all accounts, his career should have ended right there. But Arnold didn't see obstacles. He saw opportunities. This is step 2 of his formula: isolation. He didn't try to fix his flaws. He isolated them. He decided to turn his biggest weaknesses into his most powerful features. He wouldn't hide his accent. He would lean into it. The perfect example? The Terminator. When Arnold first read the script, he was actually supposed to play the hero, Kyle Reese. But Arnold was fascinated by the villain, the Machine. He met director James Cameron and started explaining, in his thick Austrian accent, how the Terminator should move, how it should think, how it should kill, coldly, without emotion, like a machine. Cameron had a lightning bolt moment. He realized Arnold wasn't the hero, he was the Terminator. Arnold's pitch was genius. A machine wouldn't sound like Tom Hanks. A machine should sound different. It should sound cold. It should sound robotic. Suddenly, his accent wasn't a problem. It was the entire character. Think about that line, "I'll be back." If any other actor said it, it would be forgettable. But coming from Arnold, in that robotic, Austrian cyborg voice, it became one of the most iconic lines in movie history. He did the same thing with his body. He wasn't going to be a normal actor. He was going to create a whole new category, the action hero. He starred in Conan the Barbarian and Commando. These movies weren't about deep dialogue. They were vehicles built specifically for the Schwarzenegger brand, larger than life, unstoppable, and totally unique. He didn't try to fit in. He made Hollywood build a new box just for him. He had isolated his flaws and turned them into an impenetrable brand. He was now the biggest movie star in the world. He had conquered Hollywood, so what's left? How do you top that? You take your brand and you merge it with the real world. Act 3. The Governator Playbook. Fast forward to 2003. The state of California is in chaos. The state is facing a massive budget crisis. People are furious. And in a historic move, they vote to fire their governor, Gray Davis, in a recall election. The state is broken. It needs a new leader. Into this chaos steps Arnold Schwarzenegger. On paper, it's a joke. He has zero political experience. His resume is just playing cyborgs and barbarians. He's a Republican, married to a Kennedy, one of the most famous Democratic families in history. He was the least qualified candidate imaginable, and in reality, he was the perfect one. This is the final step of his formula, replication. Arnold didn't change his brand to fit politics. He replicated his Hollywood brand and forced politics to adapt to him. He won the 2003 election in a landslide. He got 48.6% of the vote, beating 134 other candidates, including seasoned politicians. How? He didn't run as a politician. He ran as the Terminator. His campaign was pure brand genius. He didn't talk about boring policy. He used his catchphrases. He promised to terminate the budget crisis. He told voters he would pump up Sacramento. He called his campaign bus the Total Recall Tour. He wasn't just Arnold. He was the Governator. He took his biggest perceived weakness, his total lack of experience, and spun it into his greatest strength. He wasn't a political insider. He was an outsider. He was part of the broken system. He was the guy you send in to blow it all up and get things done. Voters weren't electing a politician. They were casting a movie hero to save them. It was the ultimate brand extension. He had taken his cinematic persona and made it real. The Aura Formula. So when you look at Arnold's entire life, from that small village in Austria to the governor's mansion in California, you see it. The Aura isn't magic. It's a machine. It's a 3-step formula for radical self-governance that he ran with brutal precision, over and over. Step 1. Visualization. He saw the end goal with perfect clarity. He didn't just dream of being a star. He visualized a life of control. So he built a real estate empire first. That foundation gave him the freedom to make smart, strategic moves, not desperate ones. Step 2. Isolation. He identified his so-called flaws, his accent, his name, his body. And instead of hiding them, he isolated them. He turned them into his superpowers. He made his weaknesses the very things that made him unforgettable. Step 3. Replication. He took that powerful, unique brand and he stamped it onto new industries. He didn't become a politician. He made politics become an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Arnold's victory proves that discipline and strategy will always beat raw talent or luck. He didn't just build a career, he engineered an empire. That is the formula behind his aura. And that is the final lesson. His greatest asset wasn't his charm or his muscles, it was his control. So, which step of Arnold's formula was the most essential to his success? Let me know your fiercest theories and biggest celebrity secrets in the comments below. And if you want to keep unlocking the biggest stories and analyzing the strategies behind the celeb world's most talked about moments, we'll be serving the next hot scoop right here. Thanks for watching.